Hey, you guys, thanks for joining us. Today is a little bit of a chat. I was saying last time I had a bunch of things to say. We were going over our founding principles, and I said a bunch of stuff, and we couldn't watch the chat channel as much. And so tonight we're going to be watching the chat channel. Overland Global, too loud.
Nah, we'll just...
All right, ignore that guy.
No,
Ignore that guy.
No, don't do that.
I'm kidding, unless you're trolling. All right, so tonight we're going to be watching the chat channel so that you guys can ask questions. Do us a big favor. If you guys, because I know you want to talk to each other in the chat as well, but if you have a question for us, put in big brackets question. Okay, like all caps question, and then we'll see it easier, and we'll be able to know that you have a question for us. So thank you for joining.
Hi.
I'm Michael.
I'm Corey.
We're married, and we're
going to do some Overland ASMR for you at the end of this video.
What's ASMR?
It's where you make soothing noises.
Oh, let's not do that. So we have we have some topics to cover tonight. So as we go through, this will be about 20 minutes. And we're going to go through real quick, getting started. We're going to get into how do you like your BFGs? Hey, Austin, remember to write question in all caps.
No,
so that I know.
he did the question in all caps.
Oh, he did the question in all caps.
That's good.
Type
that's
out
good.
question.
Okay.
Or just put it in all caps. So we'll talk a little bit about getting started very briefly, and then we're going to talk about the, packing 3 cases, and we're also going to talk about learning as you go, as you overland and you start doing more off-grid and more extreme stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about learning as you go. So we have topics to cover, but we also took questions from the community, and we have them right here. We'll be answering those as well. All right? So a big topic that we've been talking about, why are you, Nigel, we're not ignoring you. So we'll talk briefly about getting started because mostly we'll be answering your questions. One of the things that Corey and I have been focusing on is you don't need to start with a lot of gear, right? And if you believe the internets and many things that you see, it looks like you need all the gear, right?
Sure. But I see people prepare for everything, like every possible situation, and then inadvertently collect gear, like double or triple the gear for the one job.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I see it getting out of control, is people losing focus on what they're bringing stuff into their vehicle for, and then having redundancies. That's my take on it.
And the you have to be prepared. You need shelter and you need water. If you're going for a really long time, then you need food too. But you really can trim it down to those things. We're going to take some questions now. One of the questions was, how do I like the KM3s?
Yeah.
And Corey and I really like the KM3s. We believe that they stop better in the rain than the KM2s, which was the previous generation. And
they've been on our truck for a year.
Yeah, they've been on our truck for a year. We put quite a few miles on them. Here's what I'm going to say about the KM3s. I won't mince words. If you guys are going to be doing a lot of pavement, then I would recommend the KO2s. Or if you're going to be doing a lot of dirt, I would recommend the KO2s, because the KO2 all-terrain from BFGoodrich is a fantastic tire. But if you're going to be into more aggressive mud, we get into mud here, we get into clay mud, we get into a lot of different things. And so our rig is outfitted for the most extreme thing that we encounter. And so we like the KM3s, and they're there for us when you need them. But if you're not going to be doing that stuff, there are trade-offs. They don't stop as good in the ice and the snow, and that's a trade-off. Okay. Now, another question: do you have lockers on your vehicle? We do. Yeah, we do have lockers. When we chose to get the FZJ80, and that was one of the questions from the community too. It said, "Hey, what vehicle do you guys have, and it's a 1996 Toyota Land Cruiser FZJ80 variant. It's a very capable rig. We did research, and there were really only a few vehicles that fit the bill for what it was that we were going to be doing. And one of the things that we wanted was bare minimum rear lockers, which will do about 85% of what you need your vehicle to do. But then we also happen to have the front locker and center diff lock as well. Those are e-lockers, they're electronic, and they came with the vehicle off the showroom floor.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
The Patriots won.
Which one is that?
The Patriots won, apparently.
Oh, the Patriots won.
Good
Hey, you
job.
guys. Good job, Patriots.
Boston's going crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, are the roof tents worth the money and practical on the rough trail? That is the question people love.
Yeah.
Worth the money, man, that is subjective. It's very subjective. What I'll say is, if it's an investment you're considering, you do want to take in consideration the amount of weight it puts up top on your vehicle. If you are going on rough trail, then that's going to just change your center of gravity and make you top heavy. So that's a consideration. That would mean you'd be looking for a lighter, more compact, lower profile tent. But also, if budget is the conversation, then that puts you into a very specific category of rooftop tent that'll hit your range, right? So with the conversation around rooftop tent, ground tent, or sleeping in your truck always comes down to time, money, and weight, in my opinion.
Yep.
And it's not an item you want to go lowest budget on.
Yeah. Get a good one. The pop-up variety are easier to deploy.
Pop-up.
I'll give you my opinion and what we've found. We're not into rooftop tents right now, and the reason is we have tried the clamshell type. One, it's super high up on our rig because we have a 3-inch lift, and then we have a Ranger roof rack, which means it's full height, 6-inch rack, and so a rooftop tent on top of that is really high, so that's weight really up high. And then just deploying it and putting it back takes a long time. It's not just straightforward. And once it's deployed, you're basically base camped, and your vehicle is not mobile. And so we use the Gazelle tents. You guys, we love the Gazelle tents, and that's what we use right now.
Okay, there's a lot of good questions.
Okay.
I think we should knock through this a little
Great.
bit.
We're gonna.
I'm smiling a lot because I'm reading the questions and they're good.
And we're looking up because that's what the questions are.
Yeah. Timothy, is this true? Lockers before lights?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, for me, it really is, because when do I really use we have the KC lights, and in Baja, if you decide to travel at night, which is not advisable, but if for some reason you have to, then you have to turn that desert into daylight, and that's when you're gonna use your lights. Or if you are going at speed, through desert terrain, then you're gonna use the light. But lockers come in handy time and time again. You lock them up, and you're gonna get a lot more traction on the rocks, and even in the sand with a little throttle, you're going to be able to, get through a lot of sandy areas that standard 4-wheel drive just won't get you through. So for me, it's with lockers, it's get stuck or not. With lights, it's go slower or not, right? You don't need lights. You can always slow down. You can always, be more careful, get out there with the flashlight if you have to. So yes, I would say lockers before lights. I know that's spendy, but that's what I would say.
Okay, Forerunner Nation, mud trains are trash on road, just FYI. I used to slide around in slight rain even. Totally hear you on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna debate that too much. They did a lot with the KM3s to try and help with that, to try and help them track a little bit straighter. The KO2s, I would certainly say, the stopping distance was long. So yeah, it's good advice.
Versus the KO2s, yeah.
Versus the KO2s, that's right.
Jesse, question, what cell phone service provider has proven to be most reliable? The answer is none of them.
Not AT&T. Not AT&T.
Not Verizon.
Not Verizon. So in In the case, so Verizon does seem to have better coverage, off the grid in more locations, but we have used both. And in the case where we absolutely had to stay connected, we have traveled with a Verizon hotspot and our cell phones were AT&T. So we've traveled with both. The one thing I'll say along those lines is a range extender does work. It'll usually get you one additional bar. And I've even, been in a situation where, I'll go from 4G to LTE with that range extender. Now, I know some folks out there are going to say, you're supposed to be getting off the grid to get away from it all. You don't need your cell phone, sir. Calm down. Sometimes you do. Yeah. So range extenders do work. They're spendy. They're kind of spendy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Calm down, internet. Y'all inspired me to do a big purge. Awesome. Night Rebel. Yep.
Great.
Feels good.
Great.
I've loved my rooftop tent, and I do a lot of bush trails and mountains from 2B overlanding.
Yep.
Yeah,
hey,
they're great.
Let me say something
I'm not
about.
going to diss them.
Let me say something about rooftop tents too.
One last thing. That's all we got.
One last thing about rooftop tents, and then we'll move on. All right, is that depending on the region of the world you're in, rooftop tent might be the best option for you. For example, North Australia, and in certain areas where there are a lot of critters on the ground that are trying to kill you. You might want to be up off the ground. So that is a consideration. Mm-hmm. We don't run into that as much out here in the Sierras or in the west coast of California.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Question. Let's make this one. This is going to be a quick
Okay.
one. What do you feel is still missing on your rig currently, or what is next big upgrade? Gosh, man, we're so good. Why?
So our rig has been the same configuration basically since 2010. We haven't done any major upgrades because it really serves our needs. 17 days down through Baja. I feel confident that we could do a much longer trip in the rig, and it really does serve us well.
I mean, maybe the suspension.
That's
maybe.
Good. That's a good point. I probably would have gone there myself. Our rig is heavy as overland rigs go. For mid-size overland rigs, it's a heavy rig, and we could use hydraulic bump stops from like King hydraulic bump stops, or even King on all four corners. We haven't done it because it's spendy. Right now, we have the Old Man Emu suspension system with the heavy springs on the back. And that keeps us from slamming down on the bump stops, which is really, really not comfortable when that happens. So we've got some help there. So I might, for the more long-term, faster speed trips like Baja, go to a King suspension. We might like to get that. I would also say organization, you guys. So Corey and I are always considering, different ways to organize our stuff, and a drawer system might be in the near future for us, because that's handy.
Well, and we've talked about building that out ourselves. That just sounds like a fun project.
Yeah, that would be fun. And our friend Aaron in Hurricane, Utah.
Hurricane.
He's gonna help us out.
Hurricane.
It's Hurricane.
Okay. Okay. Here's a quick answer. Do you daily drive your rig? Yes.
Yes. So I daily drive the rig. We drive the heck out of that beast, and we are not kind. So it's just been a great rig for us.
What's your thought on a snorkel? Air intake.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Do it. A snorkel's great. The common misconception is that I need a snorkel to cross water, and it helps, but it's actually not even the primary reason. So first of all, if you look at the airbox, where the airbox is located on our Land Cruiser, it's really high. It's like here, right? And so when you're going through that deep of water, given the buoyancy of the vehicle, and if the water is moving at all, you're getting into the realm where you're going to start floating. So yes, it will help if there's splashiness, but if you don't dive in the water, if you do it properly by creating a wake slowly in front of the rig that pushes the water away from the vehicle and makes the water level go down, you don't need speed and you shouldn't be getting water inside your air intake. But it's a safeguard. It ensures that you won't get air into your intake. And the primary reasons for a snorkel are clean air and cool air. That's really those are primary reasons for it. Are get some cool air into the engine for a little better fuel economy, maybe a little bit more power, and make sure it's clean air, so it's out of the dust. And that's why you see the ongoing debate: should my snorkel be pointed forward or backwards? Pick. You talk to different people. People are like, I want the ram air. Well, I want the clean air, and pick.
I think the overarching theme to the questions around gear is to do research. Yeah. Know your budget. Don't get caught up with the Joneses and what they're putting on their vehicle. Know where you want to go. Know how you want to do it. And then everything with a little bit of research flows through that. That's keep it simple.
Yeah,
that's keep it simple.
And don't have it be a barrier to you guys getting out there and finding an adventure, being by yourself, getting off grid, finding that really valuable time that keeps us centered.
Let's hammer through some of these a little bit faster.
Yep.
Here we go.
Okay.
Pop-up tent versus rooftop tent for first timer. Which do you recommend? It again, up to you. If you know you're going to be out a whole bunch and you want rooftop tent makes sense, go for it. If you aren't certain yet and you just want to put a little bit of your resources and budget into something like the Gazelle hub tent, which is the one we use, go for it.
If you're moving every day, it's an argument towards ground tent because it can be faster. If you get one of the pop-up tents, those can be super fast. They're also more expensive.
Yep.
And that's why Corey and I do this all the time with this conversation is you really have to pick. There's a question up there.
What is the best radio communication device to use if riding alone in case of in case you need to get help in the middle of nowhere? That's from Live into Life.
Get your ham license.
Stryker and Bravo.
Get your ham license.
Yeah.
So the reason we say for radio communication ham license, you have the range and that gives you the safety. So your ham radio is going to be the best. CB radio is only good as far as you can see it, basically. GMRS is another option, but if I had to choose one, I'd say get your ham. If you know that you're going to be way off grid consistently, then you get your DeLorme InReach, which is two-way satellite communication, no blackout areas anywhere on the planet. So if you know you're going to be off grid, you're going to be remote, then get your two-way DeLorme InReach. But for radio equipment and range, get ham.
Okay, 3 trailer questions. Extreme Overland USA, what do you think about off-road trailers? Jeremy Jones, I'm putting them all together. Would you pull an off-road trailer? And Corey Stockert, hey, do you have any knowledge of the Conqueror 490 trailer, thoughts or experiences? It's all together.
Yeah, the Conqueror trailer, we've talked to the folks that manufacture that trailer, and it seems really, really robust, but we don't have any firsthand experience, so we can't dive into the details about that trailer. But it seems to be a good build.
I think in general, we haven't pulled a trailer except that U-Haul. We had to pull to Expo here.
I got 6 miles to the gallon.
It was awful. Check out accounts like Lifestyle Overland, Kevin and family. They have a really awesome turtleback that we've seen up close and actually been off-road with them while they were using it. It was very robust.
Yeah.
And that's all we could say about it.
Yep. I'll just add to that. If you're rolling slow, and you're staying multiple days at any given location, a trailer might be a good thing to have. If you're on the go, moving constantly, and you know that you're going to be doing a lot of rock crawling or off-camber stuff, you might not want to do a trailer. I'm not a trailer towing guy. I like the rig and four wheels is what I like, but that's just personal preference. Okay. I see the benefits too.
Let's knock through some more. Question, David West. I don't think that's David West that we know. David West, question. Imagine you're new to it. You have $500 to spend. What do you buy first?
That's a really good question.
The biggest light bar possible.
Yeah. Lights before sliders, and a body lift.
$500. You could. Well, that could go a long way.
It could go. It could go a long way. And with $500, I'm going to say in order to prepare your vehicle, if we're talking about vehicle specific stuff, we always say to start from the ground and build up. So tires are the first thing, but you can't buy tires for $500, right? But I would work up from there. Think of the priorities, and that is water and shelter. Mm-hmm. If you have any kind of a reliable vehicle whatsoever, you can go to some amazing places. And if you have a Prius, you can drive out to Alabama Hills and have a wonderful evening off grid in an awesome location. So I would look at.
Somebody wrote, buy gas.
Buy gas, right? $500, buy gas. That is a terrific answer.
Smart. That's
right?
Very smart.
If you know it's going to be cold, if you're going to, the desert in the winter, then make sure you got a 32-degree bag, right?
Yeah.
At least, maybe more.
And ask that question in several different venues, forums. Go to our forums, ask it. You're going to get a great sample set of what, based on other people's experience.
So shelter really is key. Make sure you have that. Covered. If you have all the basics covered, nice pair of sliders. See if you can find a local shop. Tell them what you need, and see if you can get them to fabricate some sliders for you. Sometimes if you get somebody to fabricate sliders for you, you can get them for a better price, and oftentimes they'll put the love and care into them to make sure that they're very stout. So again, ground up on the vehicle. Put it towards sliders before you buy your lights and other things.
Okay, we got to skip around. Forerunner Nation, good point. Winch before lockers. Need to up your recovery skills. That's important too. Okay, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
The thing about the winch, everyone's like, I've never even used a winch. I got a bottle jack. And then, of course, the reply to that is, you only need it once. So it's debatable.
Okay. Have you guys looked into a Toyota Troopy?
Yeah.
I'm getting what day?
Oh my goodness. I've been over to Australia. Hey, you guys, I see some folks over from New South Wales. Hi, Adrian. And I saw somebody from Queensland. Thanks for checking in. But I've been over to Australia a number of times, overlanding hardcore through the outback. No, that's not true. I went over there. I was fortunate to go over there for work. But while over in Australia, hanging out with folks, the Troopies are absolutely awesome. And if we could figure it out, it's certainly something I'd love to drive around. Are you asking if I'd replace the Land Cruiser? I don't know about that.
Yeah. Question, preference between cooler or plug-in cooler freezer from To Be Overlanding? Gosh, guys, it all comes down to your budget, your needs, your duration, what you're planning to do with it. Is it going to gather dust?
Yes.
There's just so many personal questions in that.
So refrigeration, think some folks need medication and some folks need to keep things refrigerated. When we went down through Baja, 17 days, we didn't have refrigeration or a cooler, and we planned it that way, And then it just, when you do have a cold drink, it just makes it that much more awesome. So do you need a refrigerator? No. Is it a nice to have? Yeah, it could be for some folks. So that's really a preference thing. You don't need a refrigerator. Mm-hmm. If you want cold items and you don't want to deal with slushy ice, and you can actually pack more cold items because you don't need to have the ice that you have in a cooler, then a refrigerator can be really nice.
Oh my God, these questions are awesome.
Yeah.
Refined images. Where did I leave my house keys? Check your back pocket, the crack in between the seat back and the seat on the driver's side. And then also check we got to go to the other questions. I was just trying to help him find his keys.
Okay, so we have some questions that we collected from Instagram. We'll continue watching the comments. So if you guys have some more questions, just make them all in caps so that we know that they're questions for us, and then we'll cover them. Okay, let's see. Would you ever build and keep a 3rd gen 4Runner as a rig instead of your Land Cruiser? Instead of? No. How often do you get out camping every month? We like to get out there once a month. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So there's a big, the big thing, that we manage is the Overland bound community, which is a large community. And so that does take a lot of our time. And so we're not able to get away, every month, but we try to get out there at least once a month. For sure. We get out as much as we can.
With all the software stuff.
Yeah.
We're in this office 60 hours a day behind a desk. But
60
it's fine.
hours
it's
a
fine.
day. It's fine. And we work this closely together. And the thing is, it's really great having a perfect relationship where there's never any arguments at all.
Totally.
Yeah. We're just lucky. All right. Let's see. Will there be other annual frequent Overland bound events? If so, what are they?
Let me talk about that.
Yes.
I will talk about that because that's something we're putting together. So we've had the Overland, we used to call it Off the Grid Rally because the original version of it was truly going to be off the grid, and then a fire changed that. We had to move it on grid, and then the name stuck, and then people went, hey, this isn't off the grid. And we were like, oh yeah, that's right, it's not. So now it's just the Overland bound rallies. We have had one in the West we've had 4 of them now for 4 years. And we're going to be bringing those to the Southeast and the East, and then we're looking at Southwest and Pacific Northwest. Southeast looks like it's a go for the first weekend of June. In the Ozarks, Mason, if you're still watching this, it's all thanks to the efforts of Blue Line Overland, Mason Berry, who's awesome. And then we're currently looking for a location and day for the East. And what these rallies are is a community-based member-focused event that really the stuff we put together has to do with connecting as a community. So there is, we provide the food so that everyone's focused on just hanging out and sitting around the campfire, not huddled up in their trucks on their own. We focus on trail rides. We focus on education. There'll be recovery classes. There'll be, who else? What else are we going to do? We're going to do
number of trail runs. We just we disperse the rigs. There's quite a few vehicles, so we make sure that we go on a number of runs to keep the size of the group small. And then it's really knowledge sharing and community is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then
so it's a rally community vibe. It's not a vendor vibe or expo. There are people who knock those out of the park, and they're awesome. We're just gonna try and create these little moments in the year for people to come together and experience something collaborative and positive.
Hey, Karmatron 77, get yourself a Yaesu ham radio and the DeLorme InReach two-way satellite nav, and you'll be all set. That in conjunction with your cell phone, you'll never be out of touch.
Yep, and it ties into this question here.
Which one? What's in store for the European members this year? Well, I'll tell you exactly what's in store for European members this year. Corey?
Okay, Europe is one of our fastest growing regions of the world, and we recently are fortunate enough to have Polaris Overland. Dave is our regional director for the West portion of Europe, and
he's doing a great job.
And he's doing a lot to move forward with attending some of the off-road overland shows. I don't know what they call it, off-road shows. I'll call it that. Adventure shows.
Yeah.
And he's starting to knit together the community in a way that will allow for more people to be connecting at the local level.
Yeah, and we probably won't do an official overland bound rally in Europe this year, but perhaps the year after that we will. And also, one of the big benefits or pieces of software that our members have is Rally Point, which is over on our website. It's software that we've developed to allow members to create their own events, whether they are one of three things: a meetup, a trip, or a training event. You can create those. The members can create those on their own and call members together, and so they can do that. We help in that way.
Okay, trying to make sure I see everything.
Yeah.
Okie Overlander, this is good. How do you help promote Tread Lightly in a place where it's non-existent? And the first part of that is doing it.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Lead by example, and even so, we've got some great advisors and folks that help us with the Tread Lightly principle. So we've made it a part of our core principles, and so every Overland Bound member, reads and reviews our core principles, and leave it better than you found it is in our core principles. So we spread that word through our community, and we make sure that our members are living and breathing it. And if not, we just do education. But many of the advisors that we've talked about it's about leading by example. So if you go out one night and you camp and somebody leaves their cans in a fire ring, well, go and just clean it up, and they'll see you cleaning it up. And so lead by example is the best way.
Dell Albright had the great quote on that. Dell is a very active in the Jeep community and in the land use conversation in California. Yep. And how did he put it? He put it, sometimes you have to be the adult in the situation. And the way that he best, I know, but the way that he best approached, he said the best approach, if you see somebody who's being a Yahoo, who is not adhering to the Tread Lightly principles, that sometimes you can just go over and start picking up the trash that they are ignoring or that they've left behind, and you just pick it up. And
along with that, what I will say is this. There's a saying on any kind of land, but don't crush the brush. Yeah. And some people really don't know, right? You go out on BLM land, for example, and you see one of the folks in your crew rolling over brush to get to a campsite, and all you have to do is mention it. Oh, we're not supposed to crush the brush. And the response is 95% of the time is, oh, geez, didn't know, my bad. And that's it. That's all it takes, really. People's hearts are in the right place. And so with a little bit of education, it goes a long ways.
Yeah. Rick Sanford, I'm laughing at him, blows by 20 minutes at full steam. Totally. Totally.
I don't get it.
This is going long.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally.
Sorry, Rick.
Well, what time is it?
Okay. It's pointing out that there are a lot of questions. That people have about a lot of different topics. Didn't
I say, Rick, didn't I say 20 or 30?
He's totally right. Are there free first aid courses or maybe Tread Lightly courses? Isaac, the answer is the free first aid courses. We're going to be having a get together here in the Bay Area, in the East Bay, in the next month too, with our medical ambassador, Chris Solis. From this type of event, we're going to be working to scale it to other regions and to help create. If it's a Rigs and Coffee, why not have a Rigs and Coffee where you're talking about first aid? And why not have a Rigs and Coffee where you're talking about recovery and techniques?
Thomas, I'm going to get to your question. Thomas,
we're on it.
Overland Bound, to underscore what Corey has just said, we're creating a course curriculum that is very serious and will be available to all Overland Bound members. And that includes not only trauma and first aid, but also vehicle recovery and repair, survival, and there are about 5 different training tracks, and that will be available. So the answer is yes. For now, for first aid, go over to our boot camp section of the forums and look in the first aid section. And Chris is releasing on a regular basis videos talking about specific topics. Anybody can go and view those videos. So go over there and check it out. Mm-hmm. Thomas, that is a quality automotive bumper. Here's the bad thing. It's a fantastic bumper. Not many of them are made. So
Hannah quality.
So it's Hannah quality.
We heard rumor that he's going to be firing up production again.
Yep.
So he's HANNA quality. Do a search. He does have an Instagram account. That thing's a Sherman tank. It's just a tank.
The bottom is 1/4 inch thick steel plate. It's a part of our suspension. We just drag it across rocks.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Gosh,
Are we wrapping up
We can
here?
do a wrap up. What ham radio band do you use?
It is 146.46. And so 146.46 is the Overland bound go-to channel for our 17,000 members worldwide. And we use it to make contact and then oftentimes move to a different channel.
Yep. And then let's see. Oh, hey. Oh, hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, Kevin. Lifestyle Overland. Hello
up?
there. How's it going?
We mentioned you earlier. Your ears must have been burning.
Yes. Much more exciting than the Super Bowl. Well, thank you.
How many wives know what a Sherman tank is? I know. I win sometimes. Okay. So let's think.
All right,
see.
you
Anything
guys.
else? There was a good one. App. Let's give them an update on the app. They've been asking about it. This is the reason why we are not camping or going out by any stretch of the imagination these days.
I'll try and make this fast. We should all be excited about the app, and here's why. It represents about 50 engineering months of effort. We have more engineers working on it than one, so it's not going to take 50 months. But it's a lot of work. And it will be the first release will be end of Q1, early Q2, and it is a tool to help the community connect easier than the website. It'll be mobile. You'll be able to take it with you, and primarily it is 3 things. It is an update to the forums, making it much easier to use, much easier to find information. It is an update to Rally Point, which it will be really, really slick to create your own events and plan trips. And it is an update of the member resource map. And so it'll be very easy to find trails, locations, and things of that nature for you to explore. And on the map, you'll also be able to create a member message. You'll be able to send SOS if you need to, but you'll be able to communicate with our members directly by selecting them on the member map or selecting a region on the member map. So it's really, really slick. And here's the cool thing. This is live software as a service. So what does that mean? It means that, as you guys tell us what you want in your Overland app, we will be adding it. So first up in the roadmap after the first version comes out, first up in the roadmap is tracking. You can record your track, you can share your track with members, and you can navigate from doorstep to off-grid location without switching apps. So we know that you guys all use about 3 different navigation tools to get from point A to point B right now. We know that because that's what we do. So we're going to keep all that capability in one app. So you'll be able to see a trail on the map, you'll be able to select it, you'll be able to say navigate here, and it'll get you right there. So think of the other competing navigation apps that are out there, and it's that plus a lot more and better, essentially. But we'll be adding to the app. Once you guys get it in your hands, we'll be adding to the app, and all you'll need to do is update the app, and you'll have new features and functionality, which will be really slick for Overlanders. It is designed and built by Overlanders for Overlanders, and our community. We sent out a survey to 17,000 members and said, what are the essential features? And basically that informed what the app is. So we're excited about it.
And can videos be added to the app?
So that would go, the answer is yes, that would go under the forum functionality. Like right now you could add a video to the forums. The answer is yes, you can add a video, but don't think of us like we're not trying to build YouTube, right? So you'll probably be able to upload a video attachment or embed a link to a YouTube video.
I immediately went into the logistics to make that not slow down the site.
Yeah.
which is
the
consideration.
The app will have an offline mode, you guys. So like I said, this is we've put a lot of consideration into this. So a couple of things: the offline mode will not download huge media, and it will reduce the battery consumption of the app. So if you know you're going off grid, you're not going to be able to charge. You put it in offline mode, and it'll run in a very efficient way.
Yeah. So that's, like I said, 50 engineering hours, and
that's just for version 0.9.
Four team members working on it. We have a whole development team. They're
right.
on it.
Yeah. Right now it's about 12 engineers working.
Overlander. Y'all hiring. Stay tuned. Okay, Overlander.
Stay tuned, you guys. I mean, you guys know we're scrappy. It's Corey and I and Megan and our directors and
development team.
Our development team. But we're small, and we have very we have large aspirations to be able to support the community with awesome stuff. But we're building to get there.
Hi, Ralph and Terry.
Yeah. Hey, Ralph and Terry. How you guys doing?
If there's a beta,
all right,
we'll do it.
Members will be testing the app for us. We'll get beta links out there to members.
Okay. All right. I think the most enjoyable part of this is watching you guys say hi to each other. It's really awesome. I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Right. We don't want to ramble, right?
Sorry, if we missed your question.
We don't want to ramble, as he spent the last
I know. Was that Ralph who said that?
10 minutes.
Blowing through 20 minutes.
By the way, I cannot talk about the software in less than 4 minutes.
No,
I can't do it.
It's good.
I can't.
It's good. Hey, Mason, thank you. Everyone, Mason North is our buddy out here, and he's been moderating the chat stream for us. And,
thank you.
And helping keeping things moving. And Mike, I agree. The Midwest region to be more active. Kent, our regional director, our executive regional director, is working on that currently.
Yep.
That's the other thing we should say. There's Kent. So we have an executive regional director who is just so committed and so awesome to building these communities, not just regionally, but locally. Like, we really do have an emphasis on it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of this matters if you're not connecting in person.
Locally.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why we have regions. That's why we have regional directors, and that program is being built out by Kent, who oversees all regional directors, and it just allows the community to connect locally. So that happened naturally and organically, and is an absolute requirement.
Yeah. And Mike will let Kent know that you're active on the chat. Thanks for chiming in. And
okay.
And
you guys, we're gonna.
Oh yeah. Wait, I did see.
Yep.
Hold on. Trailspin, I saw you.
Hey, Trailspin, what's going on?
Because we haven't seen you since the expo.
Yeah, we haven't.
And all the topographic stuff. Yes, that stuff's moving forward.
Yep. I said that I would mention training as you get more extreme, and this I can do shortly. And here it is. As you go off the grid for longer duration and do more extreme stuff, make sure you have the training and the prerequisite experience and knowledge to do it safely.
Baz just showed up. Hi, Baz.
So that's a requirement. We want to make sure that you're enjoying off-grid adventures of all types, but we also want to make sure that you're prepared to do that, and that's why we're developing the training programs that we're developing. All right.
So we had Baz join.
Great.
Everyone's saying hi now.
Hey guys, we're gonna sign off. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out. We always go a little bit long, so
I know.
It's just part of it.
Thoughts on Expo Overland Pioneers. It was fun. It was just muddy.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
Yeah, and I see people answering questions in the chat stream. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks so much, you guys.
And Kevin said it looked like we were going to sing a duet at the end.
No, I'm not going to do that. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks a lot. For new folks who are just learning about Overland Bound, get over to overlandbound.com. Ask us questions in the comments of this video. Once it gets published, it takes a little while for it to get published and upload. Thank you again for hanging out with us. We enjoy and appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you guys. Now I got to go over here and turn off the thing. Bye.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road.